Hey guys, so I'm back with my shaky phone and my natural-ish hair. This is what my hair looks like after I've straightened it, and then the next day when it just decides to curl up. I obviously brushed it, so, well, maybe it's not super obvious, but it wouldn't look the same. I guess it kind of makes it a little bit more frizzy. Whatever. The topic of this video is just basically directed towards INFJs, but this can apply to any type because I think anybody's experienced this in their life at some point. And that's just the idea of stop getting out of your head and just do things. For me, I'm most comfortable in my head. I'm most comfortable when I'm thinking. Oftentimes I like to be alone when I'm thinking, and I can just go off and just think for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours about even the same subject. But I've realized over the years that when I get too much into my head and I don't interact with people, I don't do things, it can be not a very good combination. So there's points where that can kind of, work with depression and kind of work against me. But as INFJs, especially if you're similar to myself, and as a child you were introverted and kind of the outcast in a way, it can be challenging to want to go after things, to do things, to be ambitious, to just do things that you want to do. I have a video on this channel called Do What You Want, and that kind of is just saying go after the things that you want. But sometimes it's hard to even start and even go and do something. My suggestion would be, if you want to start doing stuff, to take baby steps. So for example, if you want to go to a certain restaurant, let's say you really like sushi or Thai food or whatever, but nobody else wants to go with you, or you just kind of don't have anybody to go with, go by yourself, date yourself, do whatever even if you're dating someone, it's good to go off and do those things. It's good to have these individual experiences. Or you could do something as extreme as I did. It's not that extreme, but I went to Paris by myself. It was in between going to Germany and Nice, France, but I decided that I would, go to Paris by myself, and I went to the Louvre, and I went to the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower by myself, and that was such a good experience for me, because had this been 16-year-old Emily or whatever age, I probably would not even think of going somewhere like that by myself. It's hard, especially I feel like in many ways I think INFJs can be very independent, but I think we're also naturally kind of dependent on others because of extroverted feeling, and we want to appease other people. So sometimes it can be hard to go after the things you want. Like for example, right now, this is a Thursday. Tomorrow I'm going on a trip. And, this was it wasn't like I just booked it yesterday or something. It's been in the works for over a month, but still, I saw the opportunity to go and see some friends and stuff, and I'm just like, whatever, and I'm just gonna go. And this means that I go through, travel to a different state, and do all that stuff by myself. And some people that might be a big deal for them. And it was when I was younger. So, like I said, 16-year-old Emily would never think that she would be going on trips by herself and going out of the country by herself and, doing all these things. But at a certain point, even if you're much older than me, or even just, the same age, I'm 25, you have to kind of decide for yourself that you can either stay in your head and kind of dream up situations, or you can make things happen for yourself. And I think with any type, it's good to always be developing yourself, to always be evolving. So extroverted sensing is, if we're thinking in Myers-Briggs terms, that's my fourth function, or my weakest function in my stack. And that's something that I'm seeking. I will never be naturally amazing at extroverted sensing, but by doing things that make me uncomfortable, like actually, I mean, just really even getting out of the house, let's be real, I would be okay with just like staying at home and just never leaving, but I know that that's not good for me, and I know that having ambition, having goals, having drive, doing things and making things happen for your life, that's going to make you not only a more well-rounded person, but maybe even a better person, because you get more experiences, you see the world, you see people from all different backgrounds, and it's challenging. But if you're in the position where you're like, I don't know what to do, or I do know what I want to do, but I just feel scared, I feel afraid, just do it. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but again, start small. Do different things that maybe make you a little bit uncomfortable. Like even going to the grocery store by yourself, because even though that seems like kind of a simple thing for me, it hasn't always been. And I know that sounds really silly, but I think, especially if you're introverted, no matter what type you are, or let's say an INFJ and INTJ or something, you're going to be able to kind of relate to that, where it's like even doing kind of simple tasks are sometimes challenging, especially when you're younger or less developed. But in order to develop yourself, you have to start small, because these little small things, like going to a restaurant by yourself, going to a movie by yourself, taking a trip by yourself, let's say it's becoming October soon, so let's say you want to go to a haunted house and nobody else wants to go with you. Do it. Just do it. Don't worry about how other people see you. Don't worry about what that will look if you go there by yourself. Oftentimes also we kind of come up with stories in our mind like, oh, if I go to this restaurant or this movie by myself, people are going to think I'm lame, or people are going to be watching me. And I know I don't like to be watched. I really do not like when people are watching me do something. I always like to do things by myself. Well, not by myself like in the sense of going somewhere, but like if I'm working on something, I like to get it done and not have people leaning over my shoulder. Some people aren't that way, but that's how I am. And so when I'm going somewhere, even though I may enjoy going to dinner by myself or something like that, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about, oh, are these people judging me? Are these people looking around? And I don't really have those thoughts anymore, but especially when you're first doing this kind of thing, it can be scary because you're thinking of people's judgment and you're wondering, oh, what does this look like for me? But just like I said in my Do What You Want video, who cares? Like, who cares what people think? In order to develop yourself as an INFJ or whatever type you are, you have to do stuff. You have to make things happen for your life. And you can't expect people to know that you want to do certain things. So like, don't expect that someone knows that you want to start a YouTube channel and they're just gonna like hold your hand the whole way. Don't expect that people know that you want to go out of the country and expect your parents to be like, oh, Susie, I see you're really interested in Morocco. You should do that Moroccan study abroad and we're gonna pay for it. Don't expect that. Expect to have to do things for yourself. And maybe you'll get little things along the way where your parents are like going to pay for certain things, or someone does give you an opportunity. But this kind of ties into success. And again, specifically with INFJs, people are never overnight successes. It's not like they're, maybe you might get a viral hit, or maybe you'll be discovered or something. But life is a journey, and you have to constantly be improving. You have to constantly be doing things. And those opportunities will come. I do believe in luck in some cases. I think there's a mixture of different things. Being at the right place at the right time and all that other stuff. But you have to put yourself in that position. If you want to be an actor and you're sitting in No Name USA just twiddling your thumbs and being like, one day I'll be discovered. Well, you can wish that for the rest of your life, but if you don't go out there and even try to go to LA and go to casting calls, you're not putting yourself in a better position. And there's always exceptions to the rule, but at the end of the day, you have to decide your own destiny and not let others tell you what you need to do. You need to do it for yourself. If something feels right, and I'm not saying be negligent, don't think about things at all, but it's better, take a page out of the INTJ's book. This is something I really admire about INTJs and ISTJs, is their tenacity. Other types are this way too, but I've just really noticed this with specifically ISTJs and INTJs, is when they want to do something, they don't really think about it as much. They just go. They just do it. They don't, have the introverted thinking where they're coming up with logical foundations for something. They're going out and doing things, and then they figure it out on the way. If they want, for example, my sister wanted to go to Japan. I've talked about this before. She just did it. She really didn't talk about it. She talked about it with us, she talked about it with her friends, but the majority of the stuff that she did, if she had to get some type of documentation, if she had to get a visa, if she had to get whatever, she just did it. She didn't have time to think. She did it, and now she's in Japan, and she's, doing what she wants to do. So I guess the moral of the story, or whatever, I don't know how this video is going to turn out, but if anybody, even just one person, realizes that, while it's nice to think about things, and we may feel comfortable as INFJs thinking about things and constructing the perfect scenario, at the end of the day, you don't really know if that's actually the way it's going to go. So if you don't do something about it, if you really want to go somewhere, if you really want to do something, instead of thinking about it so much, do it, and you'll get so much more out of it than just thinking about it. Because ideas and thoughts are not, at the end of the day, as valuable as actually accomplishing things. So yeah. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in my next video. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing and give it a like. Alright, bye.